All right, here we go. Welcome, everyone. Hey, guys, this is John. This is using the clock as a weapon. 3+0, no increment. We're playing 5 games as usual. I had a pretty good session last time, as I recall. So hopefully I can keep that up today. I don't know if I'm lagging a little bit. Hopefully not. This looks weird, what black is doing. Let's play E3. Defend this. Then B3. Maybe H3 too, just to restrict this light square bishop. Black playing very quickly, but kind of neglecting their coordination a bit, arguably. Not sure about queen C2. Probably the queen was better on E2, but that's all right. Black's probably going to continue trying to play actively. Yeah. Let's play, I think, D1. Got to be wary of this idea, but I think for the moment it's fine. G4 is interesting. Let's go rook C1, though. Guard the C2 square. So I'd love to prove that this knight is overextended, but it's going to take some accuracy to do that. Maybe G4 to start. Kick the bishop. Yeah, let's start with G4. And now I'm going to go bishop A1 because I want to move my knight and threaten the knight on D4, but there are problems with knight F3 and bishop takes B2 if I do it too soon. That's what black is banking on. So now knight E4 could be in play. I had to weaken my structure to get this, though, so not completely sold on this, but at least I can force black to think a little bit. Yeah, so let's go here. And here, maybe? Queen's under attack, so I'll go there. So this is the focal point here, guys. There's queen B6, but that looks very shaky. Might run into rook B1, perhaps. There's bishop C2, I guess, then, but black plays bishop C2 right away. Yeah, I'm just going to bank the material. I could try to get fancy here, but I don't think it's worth it. Now, queen takes D5, runs into knight F6. They thought they were being clever there, but they weren't. Okay, F4, or let's just go... Oh, wait. Okay, rook takes D5 was a threat. I was noticing that. Okay, so we got the last laugh. Yeah, I think that's the type of player. I'm going to play them again if they want a rematch. The type of player who plays fast and bursts. I sometimes struggle against that player type, so let's go for a rematch. I need some practice against people who do this. So real confident bursts, that can be an unnerving style to face in blitz. Okay, C6. Yeah, this transposes to something I'm familiar with. Not sure about bishop G5. That looks a little weird because sometimes this bishop can become overextended, and my opponent just lost a piece. Exactly this. That's the problem. Okay, so up a clear piece. Let's keep up the tempo, keep up the pace. Queen F4 possibility. I don't know if I will resign, but they're probably debating it right now. They're going to play. Okay, let's just go castles. Queen H5. The annoying part for white is they really can't allow too many exchanges. So I'm going to kick their queen around a little bit. Now we'll take. Play rook over. Go rook D7, defend this. Main thing here is just to keep up the pace. I absolutely don't want to spend unnecessary time. Let's swing over, attack some of these weak pawns. Queen f3 could be played to try to trap me. Queen takes c3, bishop takes h7. But if white does that, I might play something like c5. I think c5 even here looks pretty good. Let's go for it. Hangs rook takes b7, but I'm going to take on d7 then. Or on d4, rather. Yeah, like so. There's even queen d2 maybe coming up. We'll see. Yeah, queen d2. Does that win a piece? I guess there's... guess they had an out against that, but no matter. Let's keep it going. Rook back to d8. Now bishop takes g3's in the mix, which I think my opponent is missing. Just taking care to double check for any sort of tricks that white can throw at me. You know, little stuff that might get you in trouble if you're inattentive. That's clever. I can take, though, and play queen f8. I can also throw on bishop takes f2. But let's go for the sure thing. Easily winning endgame. Okay. So we're going to get this one. I think I can finish this one out. All right. And that's a quick 2-0. Yeah, so it can go either way against a player like that. I mean, anything can happen. But I think the main thing is to not get too unnerved by their playing style. Pick your moments to try to take advantage of them playing very quickly and in bursts, like I said, because that's where they derive a lot of their confidence. I mean, I don't mean to denigrate this player. This is clearly a good player. You don't get to nearly 2,800 blitz and be an FM if you're not. But even players that good have weaknesses. And for me, it's always interesting in this series to see how I adapt to different player types, because you're doing it on the fly and you're having to do it real quick. Okay, let's play d6 against this player. 26, 28. Use some old Indian action. Knight bd7. Knight bd7 and e5. I play this setup every once in a while. That last game is a good example of how the bishop on g5 can be a serious liability for white in the Scandinavian. Okay, white's tempting me to play e4, but I'm going to play c6 and then queen c7 to guard this pawn. We'll see if white tries to direct this knight. Yeah, I was going to say, try to direct that knight towards c4. It's a bit annoying. I could play b5. I'm going to do it. Doesn't quite feel right. Ooh, and actually I might have blundered this. Knight takes e5 anyways. Okay, my opponent doesn't notice. That's good. I think I actually blundered knight takes e5 there, because after this trade, white would have had bishop takes c6 check. So I might have avoided a bit of a crisis. Still, though, white has annoying ways. He's trying to get at me, so let's stop knight f5. Need to get castled ASAP. Hope you're all doing well, by the way. c4, okay. Let's play b4, and I wonder if white's going to go c5. I think they really want their knight on c4. No c5 yet. I could play knight c5 myself. Yeah, actually, let's do that. That looks interesting. I like this post. Discourages a6. Blockades the c-pawn. Leaves the e-pawn a little bit weaker, but I can pivot back now and defend. So I think I found a decent construction here. Maybe there's something direct like this and then f4. But at best, that probably wins back the material for white, and it might result in a worse position. Although, okay, well, I should probably get castled here soon. Yeah, let's castle. I think white's going to go knight e4. No. Okay, f5? Is it time for f5? Let's grab the space. Control this e4 square. I'm starting to like my position a lot here. White needs to find a way to fight back quickly. So they're looking cramped. So I might play e4 sooner or later, But first, I'd like a little more presence in the center, because white's going to be jumping somewhere like d4. Could play it now and then knight e5 maybe, but knight e3 is coming. There's f4 too. Let's play bishop f6 first. Just see how white deals with that. Knight g5, okay. And if h6... h6. Just force the knight back. Whoa, a6. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. It's a deflection idea. Let's just play... Let's actually go bishop c8 against that. And try to pick up the pace. I'm talking a little too much. We're both going to be playing bullet chess here in a second. Let's go e4 now. I want to get white in time pressure. I can pick off that a pawn when I want. So I might do that, but also I don't think there's any particular rush. Yeah, let's play to coordinate instead. So h5 could be annoying, so it's nice to have the bishop in contact. I'm going to go h5 myself just to solidify. And I get the sense white isn't quite paying attention to the clock here. I think I'm definitely better in this position, but I need to keep up the pace. Let's play like this. Maybe knight g4 next. Now I've got a 20-second advantage on the clock. This is going to come down to time. Let's go knight g4, and if e3, I'm going to play the knight back. Because the knight on d4 is attacked twice, or 3 times actually. And now we're going to try to use this d3 square to our advantage. White's just going to be too slow. Let's cash in. I think white's going to play knight takes h5 at the end of this, just out of desperation. No? Yeah, there it goes. Let's play this. I think this is a very annoying move to face in time pressure. Because if takes, the d-pawn's running. Let's go like this. Take. And knight here. Take. And Bob's your uncle. Whatever that saying means. Okay. Nice. I like how I'm playing this session. Let's keep it going. I'm just going to click next game immediately. Opponent wants a rematch. Let's just do a random opponent. I like to mix opponents unless there's a particularly interesting opponent to face again. So sometimes I'll give a rematch if I was white in the first game. Okay, Super Chthonic. This is what I usually play against this system. It's nothing too glamorous, but it can be effective. Okay, c4. Huh. Interesting what white is doing here. I'm going to take and play h5. Let's spice this up. I feel like the early h3, g4 is weakening for white, or it should be. So let's see how white reacts to this. Because now I think they got to consider takes, and e4. Okay, they might want knight h4. Should I play h4? I'm going to play h4 myself. Deny this move. Yeah, so trying to demonstrate that white is overextended somehow. Let's go knight e7. Good thing there's no knight d6. If this were Crazy House or something, I might be in trouble. Let's play knight f5. Now it's going to put a knight on e4. Yeah. And let's go bishop e7. I like this. This looks good, I would say. Maybe knight c5 was an alternative there. Maybe I can go knight f8, knight e6. Probably castle short, but remains to be seen. Yeah, white wants bishop g4. Let's proceed with this knight maneuver. I think this knight is going to be well placed on e6. least it seems to me. So now if rook g1, if that was the idea to lend support, I can play queen takes d1. So white initiates the trade. Okay, no, this is going in my favor, or it should be. Let's play knight d4. It's probably not a massive advantage, but it looks nice. I'm just going to castle now. e3. Knight c2, knight b4 maybe? Or just knight back to f5? Let's go knight c2, knight b4. I have a modest time edge here. Is there some reason white doesn't like rook b1? Ooh, okay, they paused. I actually wasn't looking at knight c5, but that might be why they're worried about this. Maybe they're contemplating bishop takes e6. But then I can probably get away with taking. Had white played rook b1 right away, I wouldn't have suspected anything. But I wonder if they're worried about putting the rook in alignment with my bishop. f5, by the way, if ever I play f5, remember there's en passant. Okay, so white sort of tipped me off there. I don't know that this changes the character of the position that much. White can probably play bishop f3, but look how much time it's cost them, these last two moves. Yeah, they play that. Knight b4 still. Let's go knight b4. Unveil this. Yeah, jump in. Okay, now taking and then eventually taking on f2 is possible. And I've doubled white up on the clock. Knight b3 now? Super shaky for white. Let's go knight b3, turn the screws. So bishop d2, can they avoid losing material? Wow. Oh, it looks like they should lose material here, but I'm not quite seeing it. This is where I burn time. This is where I typically burn time. So let's take. And I don't know. I'm just going to go here. Because rook d1, I have bishop c2. Okay. But they can play knight e4. I guess that didn't do much for me. At any rate, let's take. And I guess take. Okay, I won a pawn there. It's not the greatest pawn to win, but the most important thing is I've kept the time advantage. Let's play like this. Try to go g5 soon. Bring the king up next. Play b6. b5. And play like this. Try to get this past h-pawn on the outside. This is a draw. I'll offer my opponent a draw. I could try to flag them, but I don't feel right about flagging them. Yeah, total draw. Good defense by white. I didn't keep my time pressure up. And yeah, I think somewhere around where it looked like I was winning material after bishop d2. White's position is so shaky looking, but I actually don't see something concrete. Knight takes f2, rook takes f2. Take on d2. Like, everything seems to be defended. Okay, let's play our final game. I want to keep the momentum going, and then we'll take a look at that one in particular. Okay, last game against GM. Let's play d4 in this one. HSH 1987. Okay. Lots of theory in the QGD lately. Lots and lots of theory. G4 is ambitious here. I'm going to play knight e2. We're going to play... Yeah, let's play like this. Now I got to watch out for g5, though. Let's go h4. Dare black to take. They don't take. Okay. It makes me feel good, because now maybe the f5 square starts to look a little weird. H5, bishop g4. Maybe queen b3 then. There's also bishop g4, bishop e2. Okay. Let's take. Go bishop g5 now, because g5 again is a potential concern. Don't think I'm really gaining much from all these little maneuvers, but trying to fight for some ideas in play. Watch that time disadvantage, John. Okay, black looks like they're trying to castle queenside. Let's go rook c1. Probably black can castle long. I'm bluffing a bit with this move. Okay, let's take. Let's go knight a4. Not exactly thrilled with this position, but I shouldn't be worse. Famous last words. Okay, knight e2 maybe. Might be time to move the knight, huh? Or bishop e2 even. Let's go bishop e2. So for the moment, black was unable to castle. All right, I'm going to castle this way. This is a bit risky, but there were two threats there. I actually might instantly regret this. f3. Yeah, I regret this because queen h4 is coming. Probably got to do something wonky now. Okay, don't worry too much about this, John. Just keep the pressure going. Let's go bishop f3. Yeah. I don't know. Do I take on d5 and just gamble here? The momentum of this game is really not going my way, so I'm going to take. This might be bad, but I got to do something to try to mix this up. Queen d6. Just all hands on deck to attack c6, I guess. Oh, there's rook h5. Wait, I can take, right? Ooh, okay. Well, that clearly went well, but now I'm in big trouble on the clock. Come on, John. How do I not have pre-moves on? Do I not have auto queen on? That's what I meant, auto queen. I got to check my settings. I shouldn't be having to press queen manually. Okay, I can't believe I won that game. I'll take it. Nearly a perfect session. Okay, I feel like my my good deed for the previous game in acquiescing to the draw, offering the draw, was balanced out by this game, which I didn't really deserve to win, I feel. So, whew. Yeah, so black got overambitious there, I'd say, with the position right around here. I mean, I would bet this is still pretty good for black. Let's take a look at the analysis. I think I'm close to my peak rating, by the way. Let's go to game history. Yeah, I'm curious about the evaluation. Once this queen landed on e4, I started seeing problems with queen takes g2 and queen b1. Maybe it's not so bad yet. Still better, actually. Rook h7, that feels like a very loose move. Same with queen b4. So the computer says don't panic. I castled, yeah, and now I felt like the momentum was going against me. So Grandmaster Alex Yermolinsky talks about this in his book, Road to Chess Improvement. He talks about how when the trend, he uses the term trend. When the trend of the position is against you, you have to do everything you can to try to reverse the trend without necessarily panicking, okay? Because when you think reverse the trend, especially in a game as empirical as chess, you might think like doing something desperate or just outright bad, hoping to confuse your opponent. But if you can do it in a smart way, that's often the best way to try to claw back in the game. So here I was down on the clock. Yeah, major time disadvantage, minute and a half to 30 seconds, let's say. And I also felt like my position was in danger too, because of queen h2, queen h1, my king is open. So I just spotted this idea of taking the pawn on d5 and then trying to pressure the pawn on c6, hoping for some sort of breakthrough eventually, if I could double the rooks, let's say. And yeah, rook h5 was good here for black. I was worried about that one. Because on f5, black can play queen takes e5. Yeah, and then just pick up the bishop. So I think normally black would spot that. I think they started playing off my time a little bit too much right around there. Yeah, so black sacked the exchange. Queen h2, it's still not too late for rook h5. Black sacked the exchange, and now I should be winning. My king starts getting to safety. I'm proud of how I handled this conversion. Got my king up, and then eventually made a strategic sacrifice of the rook for the bishop. I think d7 was clutch, by the way, because I could have taken one of the pawns too, right? But then rook e8 check followed by king d7. Black gets to get their king in front of the pawn. I absolutely did not want black to be able to prevent the d-pawn's advance with their king. So d7, I think, was an excellent practical choice on my part, even though all those continuations are winning, because black absolutely can't go into this pawn ending. Although this too would have tested me on the clock to see if I could win. So, yeah. Managed to get the job done here. I'm going to make a note to just immediately change my settings after this. So not the greatest game on the board for me, but I found some key moves when it mattered, and I was able to negate the damage I had done earlier to my clock. So this type of game, you know, I knew when I got into that position after bishop d2 that that's exactly where I flounder. I've often floundered in positions where it looks like there should be a knockout, and I burn all my time trying to find it. This is almost the reverse of the game I just showed you, the game I just played against the GM. Because look at the clock. Here, also a huge advantage for me. Yeah, bishop takes g5 looks so obvious now, doesn't it? This knight is overloaded. If they take, I take here. Yeah, I couldn't quite find that. And the next best moves are moves like f4, f6, f5. Yeah, probably trying to eventually lever out this knight from e4. So I don't know. I don't know how I get better in these moments other than recognizing them when they come up. And by these moments, I mean tactically complicated positions where I feel that there's something that should be crushing or winning material or decisive even, but I just know based on the nature of the position, it's going to take me a lot of time to figure out. I really struggle in scenarios like that. Over the board, online, doesn't matter the time control. Yeah, I let white off the hook here. I ended up winning a pawn, but it's not the healthiest pawn for me. White gets to establish this knight on e4, and yeah, white has total compensation. So I don't know. I'm going to keep monitoring this. I don't know how I get better at it exactly, other than making more decisive decisions, incisive decisions in time pressure, or before I get into time pressure. But yeah, I mean, 20 seconds on knight takes d2, and it really didn't yield much. Probably not the best. I just flat out missed. I mean, even here, bishop takes g5. Yeah, I flat missed that pawn was loose. Probably because I wasn't really focusing on this pawn per se. I was more so focusing on the loose bishop on d2 and this alignment with the rook on b1. So, okay. So that was our one misstep. Yeah, otherwise, we won this game. I think how I handled the end of this game, this old Indian, looks like I was significantly worse in the opening. I thought knight takes e5. Yeah, I played b5 here to stop knight c4. That really could have cost me if white had played knight takes e5. Because after this trade, white has bishop takes c6. Or after white sacrifices a piece, they have bishop takes c6. And they'll pick up the material with interest. Yeah. So how should I have played this? Castles, knight c4. I should allow this. And then just deal with this pawn being loose. Can even play knight c5. Rook d8 is good too. Why is that? Take, knight c5. Bishop d3. I guess I have some compensation here. Okay. I'll give myself a bit of a pass. I don't normally play this. Just once in a blue moon, this type of setup. Yeah, in those first two games, I felt really good about that. I think my opponent was tilting a little bit. You could see it with this move h3. So bishop g4, I'm lining up bishop takes f3, followed by queen takes g5. White played h3 instantly. It was just a knee-jerk reaction move. But even at this level, you can't do that. You can't assume that you see all the threats from your opponent, especially at this level. Because, you know, I'm not just playing bishop g4 to avoid a trade of light square bishops. So it's exactly the type of error, though, I was hoping for, given how my opponent played in the first game and then the speed of the opening in this second game. Yeah, so won a piece cleanly there. Anything in that first one? Just as long as we're looking through this. Yeah. This was nice. I actually did anticipate this sequence where black can try to play queen takes d5 at the end, because I have two minor pieces for the rook now. And queen takes d5 is a cute move, but I had seen one move further with knight f6. Yeah. So that's satisfying. I wonder what the status is with this knight on d4. Looks like it's better for white, but not hugely so. b5 is correct. g4. Okay, I didn't play knight e4 because, as I belatedly explained in the game, or attempted to with my clock running, I didn't like that black could scoop up my dark square bishop in this case. So move the knight away and then pick up my bishop. So bishop a1 was a preparatory move for that. So what should black do? Black should play f5. Okay, f5 is kind of a tough move. It controls the e4 square, and I don't have any other really good move with my knight to try to get the bishop attacking d4. Another move that, in hindsight, yeah, I mean, I think both my opponent and I can appreciate that, but probably not a move you're thinking of in this position necessarily. Kind of voluntarily weakening the king, and not a move you often play in this type of pawn structure, this like Maroczy pawn structure. So rook c8 instead, and then all of a sudden, bishop takes d4, and this is defended. Queen d3 is correct. Yeah. Cool. So I always like to think about what grade I would give myself. I think I'd give myself an A- for this session. I feel like that might have been the grade I gave myself last session too. A- to A. The score was really good. Still some stuff to clean up though. I think especially in that last game and the second to last game, that key moment after bishop d2. I don't like how I handled that. And yeah, just the time management in the last game in general. I think the quality of my play was pretty high, though, in this session. So some time management stuff aside, I think the quality was actually quite good here. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed this. It's never easy. This is really fun for me, too. I'm not really actively participating in over-the-board tournaments these days, but I can still play. And I feel confident when I sit down. And if I were to start studying again, especially beefing up my openings, I think I'd be feeling real confident. So who knows where that leads? That's not foreshadowing of any sort right now about trying to go for GM or whatever. I've got too much of my life right now going on to do that, but I won't close the door on it, nor will I close the door on some sort of return to competitive chess, whether it's over the board tournaments or certainly a lone wolf league again. And, you know, definitely these using the clock as a weapon videos. So hope you guys like this. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.